What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with the Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Frank Warren, Daniel Dubois, Queensberry Promotions. Get this. Warren believes that Daniel Dubois is landing Oleksandr Usyk at the right time. Frank Warren, promoter of heavyweight contender Daniel Dubois, believes his boxer is landing Usyk at the right time. Dubois, the mandatory challenger to challenge Usyk August 26 in Poland for all the titles except for the WBC. Usyk, of course, became the undisputed belt holder at cruiserweight, is regarded the second best heavyweight in the division after securing back-to-back decisions over Anthony Joshua. Dubois has picked up four wins in a row, all by stoppage, after suffering his first and only loss to Joe Joyce. And Warren is not overly impressed with Usyk's run in the heavyweight division. He felt Usyk struggled at times with both Joshua and Derek Chisora. And this is what he had to say. He said that I look at the fights Usyk had at heavyweight, Derek Chisora about 18 months ago, maybe 2 years ago, springs to mind. For 6-7 rounds, Chisora gave him a lot of problems. He was there with him. There was nothing in it. They picked Chisora for a reason, but look what Tyson did to Chisora, and look at that. Warren explains the seconds out. His two fights with Anthony Joshua, AJ weren't at the races. He was on the back foot all the time. For me, AJ is not the fighter he was. I look at that. I look at Daniel, and I just know that he's powerful. He's got a good jab. He's faster than people think. If Usyk gets clipped and tastes some of that power, it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts. Usyk hasn't had a performance that has been a jaw-dropping and dramatic performance. No disrespect. He's done what he had to do, but I feel Daniel will be in the right place at the right time. And let me counterpunch. Let's talk about his comparisons. He talked about the Chisora fight. They picked Chisora for a reason. And then look what Tyson did to Chisora versus what Oleksandr Usyk did with Chisora. Well, that's kind of contradicting, Frank, because for one, you're saying they picked Chisora for a reason, but then shouldn't it be fair to say why Tyson Fury, your fighter, picked Chisora for a reason 2 years later? 2 years after he fought Oleksandr Usyk again, you picked him for the supposed best heavyweight in the world. You picked him. And it's kind of weird because you look at guys like Tyson, he's supposed to be fighting the elite, not guys like Derek Chisora that's already took an L from someone like Joseph Park in the second fight. Sure, he beat Pulev, so he's a seesaw. He's up and down. You know, he's always have heart and everything else, right? And, you know, but you pick this guy to fight him, but then yet you ridicule Usyk for fighting him or picking him 2 years earlier. You know, and Chisora 2 years earlier, I would think, in my opinion, is a lot more credible than a Chisora 2 years later, you know? So you're saying, okay, well, that happens, and then you compare his other performances against Joshua. Joshua's not the fighter that he used to be. Compared to who? You know, you're saying, oh, he's not the fighter that he used to be, but then, you know, you're totally disregarding the idea that you wanted Anthony Joshua in the ring for Tyson Fury 2 separate times in the last 12 months. So it's just, it's hard to me, and it's very contradicting to see a promoter put down a fighter's performance, and then the fighter that the fights or the opponents that he fought, you want those same opponents. It's very contradicting because it really does nothing for your argument to say that Daniel Dubois is at the right places at the right time, right? Because we look at this. Why don't you do this? Be fair, Frank. What about Daniel Dubois' last performance? That was piss poor. Why do you think people are picking Usyk so rapidly and so quickly? Why? Because of what performance we saw with Daniel Dubois. He looked like he didn't have a chin. He looked like he couldn't take a punch. Something looked very off with him. If I didn't know any better, I would say Danny Dubois was shocked. I didn't think he could take punches. But maybe he never had to take a shot from a guy that was actually landing shots to hurt him. Because you have to remember and keep in mind, Danny Dubois is a fighter that has fought a lot of lower opposition fighters. They have done a Deontay Wilder-esque type career with him. Okay? The only guy that I see to note was Nathan Gorman. And he took him out, I think, in 5 rounds. But Nathan Gordon has been beaten by pretty much everybody when he stepped up. Fabio Wardley just took him out. And, those type of things. When he did step up to Joe Joyce, which is regarded as one of the slowest fighters in the division, he quit. So again, where do you come off? Brian Jennings was not really even in a discussion of being someone credible or dangerous. He had no power. He was just the WBA, and that was really snatched from Mahmoud Char because of some type of passport crap that maybe Don King allegedly had something to do with in order to get that fighter, or get that strap from that fighter. So, again, Daniel Dubois' credibility of being a young guy, the only thing he has for him is power and age. But as far as skill, credibility, heart, and everything else, you have to question all of that now. Now, I'm interested to see what he does because, again, he is a name. He is young. He is growing. He is learning. But what have we learned about him at hand? That he may get overpowered by someone like Usyk. But to use those things on that Frank Warren has described, it's not really arguable. It doesn't hold much weight. And he said Usyk hasn't had a jaw-dropping performance. What the hell do you call the 10th round after Joshua went off on him? And he did get on the front foot, Frank. And he was pounding at Usyk. And he had him against the ropes. And he had him hurt. It looked like it anyway, right? What did Usyk do in the 10th round? He came right back with all types of rapid fire. That wasn't jaw-dropping to you? That wasn't impressive? If that's not impressive to you, Frank, I don't know what the hell is. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Frank Warren stating that he believes Danny Dubois is landing the Oleksandr Usyk fight at the right place at the right time. And I will leave you with this. To add to the argument, to give him some type of weight, I will do this. I'll be fair, like I always try to be. Usyk didn't look as good in the second Joshua fight as he did in the first. I will say that. And in the Chisora fight, he did supposed to have COVID or whatnot. And, and the second fight with Joshua, you had that war that was, that's still going on to this day. But still, but Frank didn't use those as an example, did he? So it really doesn't matter. But again, guys, tell me what you think about Frank Warren's prediction statement. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.